I was diagnosed with macular degeneration about 12 years ago. And so I knew that there were going to be physical limitations that affected the way I live. I live alone, and I'm 93 years old, and I'm accustomed to running my life the way I want to, so I keep my eyes open for tools and methods in order to do that. And knowing that my vision was going to go, I moved from a little town on the coast called Bodega Bay, and I moved down here to Pacific Grove, because I knew there were senior services available. I knew that this was a lovely place to live, and many people had retired here, and that means that there's a background of senior services within the community. And so I thought, aha, it'll work for me as my vision goes. But as far as the driving is concerned, I knew that I would have to give up my vehicle, and so I started looking around to see what was already available, and there was public transportation, the MST, which is Monterey Salinas Transit Company, and they have a senior program for rides, but they only pick you up at the curb, or you have to go to the bus stop. And with my vision going in the streets being either on a slope or whatnot, I knew that walking with my vision problem was getting more and more risky because I couldn't see what it was down there, how smooth things were, how if there was a change in grade or a change in texture. And so my son, who lives a couple of blocks away, said that there was a new organization getting started. And he said, why don't you call them up and find out what they do? So I did. And they told me, and I said, sign me up, please. So I was one of the very early riders here in the Monterey Pacific Grove area. And the thing about it that I really, really appreciate, the dignified part, I appreciate, because it helps me. Somebody puts their arm out, and it helps me with a step up or a step down with balance or whatever. But ITN, the driver, takes me to the elevator, to the upstairs, to the waiting room of the doctor that I'm going to. This is one thing that I point out to other people my own age. I tell them whether they want to hear it or not. It's hard to be realistic with yourself and to admit to yourself that some things you don't do as well as you used to. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a fact. It simply means that I used to do a real good job of sewing. I can't sew anymore. I gave my sewing machine away because I was afraid I'd run over my fingers. So being realistic is something that is very hard for seniors to do, because in most cases it means that you're going to be changing your daily pattern and your attitude toward life, but you're not kidding yourself.